Oh, I'm not saying that out loud. This basically says South Ice Ocean, South Sea, which means they're kind of missing Antarctica, except for this little part. Hello Internet, welcome to Lex Universe. So this video will be a bit different, but I still think you might find it interesting. I bought this old Atlas of the World in an antique store, and in this video I just wanted to show it to you and sort of figure out what year it was created in, because it basically joins my two passions, and that's history and geography. And I hope you'll enjoy it as well. And if you want to support me, please subscribe, because it doesn't cost you anything, and I promise I will give you some content every week. Hopefully. So from the outside it doesn't look that interesting, but you can see that it's really quite old. So this is the first part. As you can see, it's German. And here you can see Kronen, so I suppose it was created in the Austria-Hungary. So we start with the map of the northern sky. See, this is the true north. Oh, there are even some information about the planets of the solar system. It might be helpful because some of the planets don't seem to be explored. Also here we can see the continents and the oceans. South Ice Ocean. That's strange. And here also the continents. Okay, so here we have our first look at the globe. Yeah, they know it's globe, so that's also good. You can see still there are no political boundaries here, so you cannot find out anything from this. But this is really interesting, see? I mean, if you don't read German, then you don't see, but this basically says South Ice Ocean, South Sea, which means they're kind of missing Antarctica, except for this little part. Is it Graham Land? And South Victoria Land. I've never heard of that. And here we can see, oh, that's nice, it's the tallest mountains on the continents. Can you see the weird way Kilimanjaro is written? If you're from Germany, is that how we write it today? Mount Everest, cool. Wow, Mongolische Rasse. I'm not sure what it's. Oh, I'm not saying that out loud, even though it's in German. Mohammedaner? They didn't know the word Islam or Muslim? Interesting. Only 7% people were atheist. Here we have some languages. You can see what were the most spoken languages in the, well, I would say 19th or early 20th century. Well, of course, Chinese, but you can see here that Hindi and Urdu are only 110 million. Imagine, today we have almost over a billion. But Chinese was a winner even back then. But now let's take a look at the maps. So, as you can see, it is prior to 1914, prior to the Second World War. We can see Europe before that. You can see Austria-Hungary, the German Reich. Well, this is actually quite interesting. I'm not sure I know what it is. Chiva and Bukhara. Were they independent of the Russian Empire? You can see really they appear to be something with, if not independent, then at least autonomous. That might give us a clue. Wow, the Middle East hasn't changed much since then, has it? Or here of Asia. So you can see those are not really that much connected together anymore. Well, here we can see still British India. This might probably be like the French Indochina. China still has control of Mongolia and Tibet. As you can see, we have Japan and Korea as one entity, I suppose. There's no Saudi Arabia, and almost the coastline is inhabited and controlled by someone, in this case by the Ottoman Empire. Strangely, Afghanistan has the same map as it has today. It's crazy. Probably one of the most stable countries here, although Nepal and Bhutan also seem to be in pretty much the same borders as today. Alright, there is no Indonesia. Oh, there's some German land in Papua New Guinea, and the other part British, so it means still no Australia, I suppose, but oh, but we'll get to it. No Malaysia either. And here are the Philippines. And Formosa is somehow not part of China. I mean, Formosa is Taiwan. Another thing that I probably shouldn't say out loud. Here it actually shows all the countries in Asia. As you can see, we have China, Persia, or Iran, Japan, which in this case probably also contains Korea, Siam, which is nowadays Thailand, and Afghanistan, Oman is still there, and Nepal and Bhutan somehow mixed together here. Weird. And here are the European dominions in Asia. Russia has the most, obviously. Here we can see Africa prior to decolonization, so it definitely has to be, well, before the Second World War, obviously, if it is before the first one. So the majority of Africa is actually part of European countries. You can see the Ottoman Empire still controls part of Northern Africa, and here we can see Morocco seems to be independent. It doesn't say it would belong to anyone. On the other hand, the Western Sahara is a Spanish colony. New Deutsch Ostafrika, so that will probably be also interesting because it is quite a new concept. It might help us to narrow down the year of its issue. There's still no union of South Africa, as you can see. Looking at Australia and also Oceania, here we've already seen Indonesia. It's interesting, Australia is still here considered as British, so it's not an independent country. Also New Zealand isn't, so they're still colonies. But we can see the name Australia, so I think it's past its federation, so it's already the Dominion. Well, here we can actually see the countries in Africa. That's wow, not that many. I think Abyssinia is Ethiopia, and well, Morocco is Morocco. Somehow Liberia was already there. Cool. Yeah, the map of America will not be probably that interesting. You can see that the United States are pretty much the same as today. I mean, Alaska is there, even though it definitely wasn't a state at that time. Mexico. Actually, America hasn't changed that much ever since then, as I can see. Falkland, still British. Well, here we can see comparison of some of the European mountains, Alps, the Carpathian. I have no idea how to say it. Wow, it looks pretty beautiful. And here we go, we have Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Here we can see Bulgaria and Romania, but majority of Central Europe is part of this giant colossal country. And there is the map of the German Reich. As you can see, we can see all the federal states of Germany, and they were quite crazy. But as you can see, majority of the territory is Russia. But there are also some states that still exist today, like Bayern, Bavaria, but they seem to look a bit different than they used to. We can see more of Southern and Eastern Europe. As you can see, there is Bosnia. Montenegro is also independent Serbia, so it means it's after some parts of the Ottoman Empire declared independence. And we can see some smaller version of Greece. I'm sure that will come up later. So this is the North and East Europe. And all I can see here basically is Russia. Although there seems to be some border between Russia and Finland, but I think it only says that there is autonomy for Finland, because at that time it must have been part of Russia. Norway, Sweden, pretty much in the same borders as today. Denmark, barely visible. Now you can see here Volgograd, or as it was called during the Second World War, Stalingrad, is still called Tsaritsyn. And here, if you're interested, you can see the political divisions of Austria-Hungary. So you can see there are not many divisions of Hungary, except for this little part called Dalmatia, which has certain autonomy. But as you can see, the Austrian part is kind of divided into many entities. We went all the way here to Bukovina. And Bosnia is part of Austria-Hungary. That will probably also help later. Alright, but now let's find out what year this was created in. So let's start with the most obvious part. We can see Austria-Hungary, which means this has to be printed after 1867 when it was created. But also we can see Austria-Hungary, which dissolved in 1914, so it was definitely created somewhere between 1867 and 1914. But I think we can do better. Now another thing that got my mind is Australia, because I had somewhere in my head that Australia was created in 1901, and in some sense yes, but it was still part of the British Empire till the mid 20th century, so that doesn't help us at all. It kind of sucks. One thing that will probably be more helpful is German East Africa, that was created in 1885. So it means we have narrowed it down some 15 years. It's not bad, is it? And Zanzibar is British, but that doesn't help at all. What seems to be more helpful, and I almost didn't notice it because it's not on the Asian map, it's here on the Oceania map. But one thing caught my eye, and that's here, Philippines. And this weird string underneath that means Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika, which means United States of America. So this must have been after the annexation of the Philippines by the United States, which took place in 1898. But looking at this, we can narrow it even more. As you can see, as I've already shown you, the weird shape of Greece means that this all was created before the Second Balkan War, which took place in 1912. So we have narrowed it down from 1914 to 1912. So now we know that it has to be created between 1898 and 1912. But let's do better. One thing that I noticed is that Bosnia is now part of the larger Austrian-Hungarian Empire, which means this must have been printed after 1908. Impressive. But after that I started to be a little bit stuck, until I saw two more things. And to see them, we'll have to take a look at China and Japan. As you can see, Korea is part of Japan, which means this had to be printed after 1910, when Japan was annexed. But also we can see that the Chinese Empire is still intact. It's still called Empire, and it still controls the whole territory, including Mongolia and Tibet. So it means this had to be printed before 1911. And there we have it. I don't think we can do any better. But if you saw something on the map that would narrow it down even more, well, let me know in the comments. Yeah, so it was somewhere between 1910 and 1911. So I think we narrowed it pretty much down. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, check out my other social media, and next time I will talk to you from Chile.